One of the best things about live video is that it's live, that anything can happen. And that's one of the reasons that so many people are interested in watching live video is because of that unpredictableness that it has. Because they know that at any moment the script can be thrown out and it can go a completely different direction. However, that is also one of the biggest reasons that most content creators, most people hesitate about jumping on live video is because it is unpredictable, because anything can happen. On today's episode, we're going to talk all about what to do when things that happen are unplanned, when things don't go as planned. Hello and welcome to Live and Local. My name is Nick Palkowski. I'm the host here, and you might notice that I am solo here in today's episode. Brian is actually off on spring break enjoying the sun, so I decided to jump on here and still make sure that we have our normal live video schedule. So we'll be talking a little bit more about that and why that is important. But on today's episode, I want to really dive into what happens when things don't go as planned for you, and what you can do about it, how you can handle that situation. And I guess the first thing I want to dive into is just why this topic actually even came up. It's one of the things that we hear is that people are unsure what to do in situations like this, or they're unsure what to do about live video. They have some sort of hesitation about just jumping on live because of the pure fact that it is live video. And originally this last week here, right after our last episode got done where we did the little behind the scenes tour, Brian and I sat down and planned out the next about month and a half worth of videos and topics that we wanted to cover. So we dove into and figured out what each of those topics would be. And now we're going to, over the next few weeks, continue to outline each of those. And knowing that Brian was going to be gone today, I was going to be talking about a certain topic all about Facebook Messenger bots, which are something that I really enjoy. I think are extremely powerful. But then we had the big announcement. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, Facebook just actually recently announced that it was pausing all new registration for Messenger bots. So what that means is that people who already have connected their Messenger bot, their Facebook Messenger bot platform to their page to a Messenger bot platform, everything is going to continue to work like normal for you guys. So our page still is able to send out bots. Some of you are probably here because you got a Messenger bot from us. But I didn't want to dive into how to go about creating a new bot if new people weren't able to jump into the platform. That's kind of where we're at right now, is that Facebook is going over a lot of different things right now in regards to Messenger marketing and just their privacy policies and a few other things. So they're doing a bunch of review, and they wanted to put a pause on allowing any new people to jump in and be able to use Messenger bots. So I didn't think that was appropriate to actually be talking about all these amazing things you can do with Messenger bots when right now we're at a pause and new people can't jump in. Plus, we don't necessarily know what kind of changes will come out of their review of the Messenger bot platform. I have a feeling there might be a few slight changes, but not too many, nothing to think to really get too concerned about, I don't believe, but who knows, and we don't necessarily know when that pause will be lifted. So at this moment, nobody can create any new bots, so I wanted to make sure that we covered something a little more appropriate. I didn't feel like that was a good topic to be talking about, and that just happened yesterday, so it was very unplanned. It was something that kind of threw a wrench into the plans, and so I thought this would actually be a great topic to cover, is what you can actually do in terms of when things don't exactly go according to plan. And just to kind of highlight things, that is one of the really big things that people love about just live video in general, is that it is a little more organic. There are some things that you can do to really engage your audience. That's one of the things that live video, that's the big reason we have live video. The big usefulness of it is that it allows for interaction, it allows for engagement, it allows for you to go with the flow more than a recorded video would. But what we want to talk about is how to handle some of those hiccups. So the first big thing I want you to realize is that you need to to show up. And so one of the biggest ways to grow your live video audience, your live audience, is to be consistent. So after getting that announcement yesterday, I could have easily said, oh, our plan for today didn't happen. We had that hiccup. It's not going to be possible to do that. Let's just stop and not do a show this week. If you want to really grow your audience, that is something that you simply can't do. You need to find time. You need to find ways to continue to show up, to continue to talk to your audience, and to continue to provide that content week after week after week, ideally on the same day and time as when you normally had scheduled. So with our show here, Brian, again, is off on spring break. So this could have been an easy time for us to just say, hey, he's not going to be in town. We're not going to be able to do this show. Luckily for us, we have two of us, so we don't really need to coordinate as much as other people do. If you are a solo individual, if it's just you on your live show, if you're the only host, that might be a little more difficult. But what you can do is something like, say, go live while on location. You know, you can, maybe you're on vacation and still ideally at the same time of your normal show, you're going to just pop on using your phone, just pop on in and record a little video, a little live stream. It can be super quick. It doesn't need to be long, but it's all about doing that one thing. It's all about really showing up to build that consistency, to build that habit into your audience, even if it's just going to be a short little video. Like today's video is probably not going to be nearly as long as our normal half-hour show, but we're here. I'm here. We have this content that's going out, and we're hopefully building consistency in our audience by letting everyone know that every single Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be here live no matter what, no matter if one of us is out of town, no matter if our plans kind of got all messed up. We're still going to show up and provide value to you and interact, answer any of your questions, things like that. Now, point number 2, a big thing I want you to realize is, and this is going to help just smooth things over for you, make you feel much more comfortable, is to have a backup plan. This is especially important when you're talking content creation. So realize that if you are someone who is, say, doing a lot of interviews, if you are putting together certain shows, certain topics like Facebook Messenger, there's a possibility that something could happen, something could change, especially in an industry like I am right now, where we're talking a lot about live video, where it's constantly changing. Big changes can happen in one day, where things are constantly shifting. We need to be ready with some backup plans. We need to have at least a few kind of topics that we can be ready to go on a moment's notice if, a topic is suddenly no longer relevant or just needs to be put on hold, like today's episode, or like the Facebook Messenger episode, or if, say, we were supposed to be doing an interview, but the interviewee didn't show up, or they had a really bad connection and it just wasn't able to happen, or they got stuck in traffic and aren't able to make it in the studio for an in-person interview. Whatever the situation may be, it's important that you have some sort of backup plan. And that starts at the very basic level of having a consistent backup topic that you can use. And now we've kind of used one of ours here, so now it's about figuring out, okay, what's the next kind of backup topic that we can use that at a moment's notice can be ready to go, no matter what the situation might be. The second thing to realize is, depending on your tech setup, there could be some issues there. Internet speed is always a huge issue. That's going to be the thing that's going to really kind of shut down a lot of people, is if they don't have a solid connection where they can actually go live. But then there are all kinds of other tech things that can happen. So we're using a higher level production studio here where I have a dedicated streaming computer, and we have multiple cameras and capture devices and all these other things happening, where there's a possibility that some of them could fail, that there could be some issue. Like even right now, I noticed that the computer is running a little hot, but that was because I left Dropbox open on the computer, and it was syncing back there. So that could be an issue that could cause problems down the road with the technical requirements. So have a backup plan in terms of if something tech-wise just isn't working out. If there's some issue, know where you can go. For a lot of you, for a lot of people, that next kind of thing is to have that phone ready to go and to pull out and just do that normal selfie stream. It's going to allow you to still go live. It's going to allow you to still connect with your audience, but it's kind of serves as your backup plan. And realize too that if you're going to have a more complicated setup, if you're going to be doing multiple different camera angles, if you're going to be bringing in lower thirds or bringing in comments and things like that, realize that there are more issues that can potentially happen. So you should have different backup plans ready to go, or different ways to solve some of those issues. So maybe you have audio, like if something is wrong with the stream, realize, okay, maybe at this point, if by this time we don't have things fixed, it's time to just start another stream rather than go on our scheduled stream. Know kind of what your checklist is, and ideally have a very extensive checklist and say, hey, if the problem happens here, this is the next step. If problem happens here, this is how we potentially solve it. If we still aren't able to solve it, this is where we go to. Really know what's your backup plan, and to have that backup plan is really that second key. And then the next key that I really want to just talk to you about is that for you to realize there are things that just aren't going to go as planned. Hopefully you kind of got that already, that's one of the things here with live, but there's so many times where you hit the wrong button, something happens, where you flip on the wrong camera if you're doing multiple cameras, or you throw up the wrong comment, or throw the wrong graphic, or audio isn't going through, or something happens. And ultimately what you need to do is you just need to be able to go with the flow. It's about just kind of taking those mistakes, those unplanned moments, those hiccups, and just kind of rolling with it. And that is the really big key there, is just to realize that that is one of the things that is going to connect you with your audience. If you're able to roll with some of those punches that are happening and not let it really phase you, and still deliver great value to your audience, that's going to allow them to really, or to have a different connection with you. They're going to see you more as a person than just as some random talking head on the screen that is delivering information. And they're going to see your personality more. They're going to see and have that connection with you. I know one of the comments especially early on in the Downtown Madison Life show, was that some of the favorite moments that people had, some of the moments where they saw my personality come through the most in that show, was when we had some sort of mess up where I hit the wrong button and the wrong thing happened. When I was still first learning a lot of this setup, that's when people really were able to see a little bit more of my personality actually come through, because I was still honestly a little bit uncomfortable on camera being live, so wanted to very much deliver on all the talking points, all in the right order, all at the right time, and wasn't going with the flow like I should have been. But I wasn't living in the moment like I should have been, but it was when those unplanned moments happen, when those unexpected things happen, that people were able to see a little bit of the laughing at myself, the little quirks and things like that, that allowed them to connect with me more as a person, more as an individual, which is ultimately what you're trying to do with your business here. The best way to grow your business is to build a relationship with your audience, to build a relationship with your customers, with your potential customers. And by building that relationship, you're going to develop that know, like, and trust. And that know, like, and trust is what leads to the sales down the road. And it's what leads to repeat customers. It leads to people coming back again and again and again and wanting to do business with you, and not necessarily going to a competitor. Even when the competitor might be better priced, might be cheaper, they will stick with you because they know your personality and they have that relationship and that connection with you. So I don't think that can be, I don't want to understate that at all, and understate the importance of really going with the flow and allowing your personality to shine through. It's such a big deal. It really is. And then one of the last points I want to make here is to actually go out and just have fun with it. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be struggles. There's going to be things you mess up. You're going to hit the wrong buttons. The stream's not going to go right. There's going to be dogs barking in the background. You're going to drop the camera. There's going to be things that happen in these streams. The content you had spent hours preparing, this perfect slide deck, you're not going to be able to do. You're not going to be able to use on that show because Facebook makes a change. But ultimately, you just need to have fun with it. You need to learn how to go with the flow, have fun, and really focus on how you can deliver value to your audience. That's ultimately your goal here as a business owner, as someone who is creating live video content. You want to be sure that you are providing value to your audience, because that's when that's when the relationship is going to build. That's when the audience is going to grow. That's when you're going to get more engagement with your audience. That's when you're actually going to grow your business through live streaming. And so that is kind of, and I guess just kind of a bonus point, if you will, a bonus little thing, if you will, is to be willing to point it out when it is super obvious. So don't try. I know a lot of times, especially new live streamers, are going to want to kind of hide any mistakes that happen or hide any mess ups that happen and not let people realize it or see it. And to some extent, that's okay. Like, you don't need to call out, say, if I missed a point or I rearranged them wrong here as I was delivering to you, there's no need to necessarily call that out unless I was like numbering them specifically. There's no need to necessarily call out things that would otherwise be unobvious to your audience. But if a camera drops, if you say something completely ridiculous, if something happens that you just completely mess up, it's okay to kind of point out the obvious to your audience, have a little laugh at that, and then continue to move on and deliver that value. That's what I really want you to, that's the key big takeaway. If you're only taking one piece of advice away from this stream, that is that one, there are, I guess, two pieces of advice. One, mistakes and unplanned moments are going to happen to you. That's just a part of going live, is that there are going to be those unplanned things that happen. And two is to focus on delivering value to your audience. You're never going to mess up when you focus on delivering that value in some way. And delivering that value could just be being entertaining to them for a little while. But ideally, it is adding some piece of advice, some piece of wisdom, just sharing your experience, sharing a story that moves them, that inspires them. What is your audience looking for from you in that moment, and what can you deliver to them that's going to help them out in some way, shape, or form today? Again, maybe it's an excellent piece of advice. Maybe it's just making them laugh for a minute. Whatever that might be, always focus on how you can add value to your audience. Well, I told you that today was going to be a little bit of a shorter one, and I just want to give you a few quick updates before we kind of wrap everything up here. I am going to be moving very soon. So we'll be in a little bit of a transition period. Hopefully going to be a seamless transition from this office to the next office to the studio. So hopefully you're not going to know any sort of interrupt or any sort of thing like that other than me telling you right now. That was one of those things that might not be obvious, but I'm pointing it out anyways, just in case there are any hiccups along the way. And I'll be sure to kind of take you behind the scenes, show you what we're doing in terms of the new studio. I am really excited because we should have multiple sets in this new place. Have a standing set, which I like a lot for just recording, but then have a 2-person interview sitting set. Very excited about that and the possibilities that we have there. So that's coming. That's going to be happening before next week's episode. So hopefully everything goes smooth there and you won't notice any big delay or anything like that. But like I mentioned, we're going to go live on Wednesday at 2 p.m. no matter what, even if that is just grabbing a selfie stream and talking to you that way. We'll be live. Brian will be back next Wednesday as well, where we have a very exciting topic that we're going to be talking about, and it's all around the 5 elements of a live streaming strategy. That's one you're definitely not going to want to miss. And then the other big piece I want to mention is that, in case you haven't heard, I know a few of you have, but we are actually in the process right now. We've already started. Made some good progress, actually. I'm very excited with the direction of things going, is that we are launching a book. This book is geared exactly to you, the live and local audience. It's all about how a local business, whether that's a restaurant, realtors, financial planners, gyms, places like that, small businesses in a community who get their business from a local surrounding community, how they can reach more customers through live streaming. It's in production right now, or it's in process of being finished. I guess that first draft is in process of being finished, I should say. We're not ready to launch it yet. But I want to know from you, what are some of the big live streaming questions that you have? What are some of the questions that you have as a local business about growing your audience, getting more customers through live streaming? And if you want to be a part of our book launch team, all you have to do is head over to liveactionproduction.com untitled.com/launch team. And what's going to happen is you're going to just click sign up for a little form there. But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking to you, you're going to be helping us make a lot of the decisions for this book, or at least informing a lot of those decisions. So you're going to get the chance to ask any sort of live streaming question that you have. We'll be sure to answer all of those questions either in the book or directly to you in terms of content creation, because we're going to be doing some exclusive content just for that launch team. The launch team is also going to help us decide on titles. We have some ideas, we have some options, but you're going to help us narrow that down. You're going to help us select the cover. You're also going to get a chance to read some early drafts. So as we start to produce some chapters here, as we start to get things, that first draft ready to go, you're going to get the chance to see a lot of those early drafts and just kind of help us provide feedback and go along with us in the process of writing this book. So I want to really encourage you to go check out liveactionproduction.com/launch team and sign up to be a part of our book launch team. And now this is it until next week. And again, next week we'll be in a brand new studio. I am super pumped. Now it is time for you to go out there and to realize that unplanned moments are going to happen, and you just need to be able to go with the flow and know how to handle those unplanned moments. Hopefully today's stream was able to help you with some of those, and it really is about being consistent, always showing up. It's about having that backup plan. It's about going with the flow, and it is about just finding a way to deliver really great value to your audience through that process. And until next week, it's time for you to go out there, take action, and start live streaming today. And I will see you all on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Time next week.